broken? Sweet. Yo guys, I'm with the Resistance. FEMA's ran pretty terribly, so I managed to sneak in and snag these. Right now they think I'm doing a broadcast, so I'm gonna try and act the part. If I refer to anyone as an agent from here on, they're part of the Resistance. Oh, and really quick, I just want to thank everyone for watching this in the last video and all your comments. It means a lot. These files are technically classified, but I've taken upon myself to provide what aid I can to those out there. These files were provided to us from my assistant, who devised these from the ramblings of some bald, egg-headed stranger he met that claimed to see the future. While he didn't believe him at first, his observations lined up with our internal testings, so we documented them. According to recent trend observations, I have about 30 seconds before we need to employ our refocuser, as stress has shortened the span of attention for our field agents. A spoiler warning is necessary, as these files can drastically change your experience going forward. There will be no more spoiler warnings past this. This video will almost entirely be about the test for the guests that you may come across. Any information on how things will end up, or your interactions, may be omitted to avoid bloat, as these can be found elsewhere. It looks like it's about time for the refocuser. So, our last debriefing was admittedly rushed and unpolished. There was at least one error in many counterclaims that were submitted. I took it upon myself to observe field testings from multiple of our agents out there. These agents will be referred to by aliases for their safety. I observed agents Berleezy.
No way!
CoryXKenshin.
We about to shoot her too.
Flats.
Let him in? Fuck no!
MariGaming.
Look at my kitty.
Yeah!
JazzyGuns.
Bring your daughter to the dentist.
KubzScout.
So what now? This is what now?
ManlyBadAssHero.
Their armpits are like mine.
8-Bit Ryan.
I want the cat! No!
YaBoyRoshi.
Get the fuck off my porch!
CaseOh.
This dude's an idiot!
JoeBart Games.
Imagine he's at the door right now. They just don't see him.
CDawgva.
Oh my god!
VanillaMace.
Bitch, who the fuck are you?
KatieB.
Girl, shut the fuck up about Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, bitch!
KingWoolz.
Hey, chat, what we doing about Yao Ming over here?
FunkyFrogPlays.
Don't put your titties in my peephole!
Iron Mouse.
Ah, it's a visitor!
And Shiora Novella.
No!
Yes, I even watched our VTuber agents, which proves how serious I am.
Bro, what the f-
I'm joking, the VTubers are chill. Shout out to all our fellow agents, please show them some love. Moving on. After hours spent reviewing their findings, my own field tests, and cross-referencing our archives we call the wiki files, I am certain that the information I'm providing is accurate. If you experience something not outlined here, please acquire proof and submit it to the wiki files, as it may be proof of bugs or errors in the system.
I think we're good to take off our filters for this, just to make sure people can hear us clearly.
Yeah, good idea. Pretty sure whatever's happening isn't airborne. These will be shown in roughly alphabetical order based on our wiki archives, with a few outliers. The first two being the first guests you'll meet. Subjects who are always human or visitor will receive a short description, as most of our time will be needed for the guests with uncertain species. Verbal descriptions of photo tests may be absent when possible to avoid bloat and any confusion for those with color blindness, but the images will still be displayed visually. Lastly, here's a reminder for 3 things all agents watching should know. Deaths will not occur until there are at least 2 visitors present, so remain vigilant. Each guest who's random only has 2 variants, so they'll never show their visitor signs as a human and vice versa. Upon death, a human will be packed into trash bags while a visitor will leave behind a corpse. With that out of the way, let's move to the tests. This tall subject may be rude at the door and admittedly quite the downer when let inside, but he is the safest subject in our files and can always be trusted. This subject, despite their passivity, is in fact a visitor. They appear to be non-violent, though this is hard to confirm without overnight observations. The subject, through continued dialogue, will at some point realize they're not human and ask to be redacted. Some agents have allowed her in the house to detect other visitors entering the home. While a valid strategy, enact it with caution. The subject will speak very colloquially, but do not allow that or his shirt to persuade you. The subject is random, and here are his files. Tests for his teeth and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. When testing his eyes, the human version will have regular eyes while the visitor's will be red. If human, he'll have clean hands. As a visitor, he'll have dirty nails. If human, his armpits will have hair. As a visitor, they're hairless. Here's the results of the photo test. The subject will show obvious signs of anger issues and aggression. The subject is random. Tests for his eyes, photo, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his teeth will be yellow, while the visitor's will be white. If human, he'll have clean fingernails. As a visitor, he'll have dirty nails. The red around his knuckles persists regardless if he's human or not. If human, his armpits will be hairless. As a visitor, it'll be hairless but also have a rash. If refused at the door, this subject has been known to bribe for entry. The subject will talk very formally and treat the interactions as if interacting with a business owner, talking about paperwork and paying for entrance to your home, and becomes very ornery when you don't play along. The subject is random, with the only test showing any differences being for the armpits and the hands. If human, his armpits will have hair, while as a visitor they're hairless. When checking the hands, pay attention to the dialogue, as this seems to be one of the few instances where the dialogue changes. If human, they will mention their nails being untrimmed, but if they're a visitor, they will instead mention dirt under their nails. If you talk to him long enough, he'll threaten to call FEMA, and you'll have no choice but to ask him to leave and shoot if he refuses. The subject may be random, but feel free to use him as target practice anyway. You're not gonna call me out for that?
No, I didn't like him either. He's a safety hazard to the resistance. I literally named his files Prick.
The subject will seem meek and talk a lot about yearning to learn self-defense, though they will back out on this if allowed in. The subject is random. Tests for his armpits and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his teeth will be white with a slight gap, while the visitor's will be yellow with buck teeth. If human, he'll have clean fingernails. As a visitor, he'll have dirty nails. His eyes are tricky, as his eyes will be red whether human or visitor, but if he's human, his iris will be just blue, and if he's a visitor, they'll be blue with green. Here are the results for his photo tests. This subject claims to be a visitor hunter and is strongly focused on that. Though clearly they aren't super effective, as they seem to have lost their weapon, their story is questionable and are now seeking shelter. The subject is random. Tests for his hands, armpits, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his teeth will be yellow. If he's a visitor, his teeth will be white and will also mention how his teeth are white. If human, his eyes will be normal and red if he's a visitor. If you try to photo test him, he will refuse. If he's human, he will take the photo if you point your gun at him. If he's a visitor, he will refuse the photo test even after being threatened. Sources say the encounter where he lost his gun was with him. The subject seems to be confused about current events and coming to terms with his family's disappearance. The subject is random. Tests for his armpits and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his teeth will be yellow with what I assume to be broccoli stuck in his teeth. If he's a visitor, his teeth will be white. If human, his hands will show signs of bruising and damage on the knuckles and fingers, while the visitor version will show no damage. If human, his eyes will be red due to crying over his family. If he's a visitor, they'll be normal. Here are the photo differences. If refused at the door, this subject has been known to bribe for entry. This subject mentions being evicted by FEMA, but even so, her dialogue is quite telling and threatening. She is always a visitor and is aware of it, so she doesn't hide it very much. If you refuse her entry, she will mention her brood coming to your home, and for the rest of the night you'll hear knocking on all your windows despite no one being there. Her threats are all empty though. Allowing her in, she seems to find it humorous that you allowed her in despite being a visitor, and doesn't have great excuses for failing the tests. This subject has seen something horrific enough it made them want to claw their own eyes out. Supposedly there's a document describing that he saw a visitor known as the Body Eater who eats human corpses. The subject is always human. If you continue dialogue with him, after enough conversations you will slowly open the door. dead in your kitchen.
I guess you kinda left him hanging this morning.
You can avoid the dialogue and he'll stay around, but walking in on him deceased will give you an achievement. This subject claims that their husband works for FEMA, yet they have no room for her to stay in. She wishes she could join FEMA but claims they are sexist and don't hire women, which from what I can gather is true. They don't hire women and that's why we run so efficiently.
Sir, why do you keep changing suits? Isn't that wasting the Resistance's time?
FEMA's ran pretty terribly. If you deny her entry, she will threaten to have FEMA snoop around, but like usual, this is an empty threat. The subject is random. Tests for teeth, photo, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, her fingernails will be painted pink, while the visitor version has no fingernail paint. If human, her eyes will be normal and red if she's a visitor. If human, her armpits will have stubble. If she's a visitor, her armpits will have fungus. If refused at the door, the subject has been known to bribe for entry. This subject, for some reason, our contact mentioned would bring a cat that was of great importance to allow into your home. From field tests, we've gathered that the cat allows access to certain continuities as well as protecting those in your house when fed. Despite that, the woman herself is obviously a visitor. So much, in fact, that you'll question her immediately and she doesn't deny the accusation. In fact, eventually, if you keep talking to her, she will ask why she hasn't been killed yet, aware that the player must know and is keeping her alive for some reason she can't even understand. This dialogue can lead to, oh god, quite a disturbing dance. I'd rather not have to show this to you, but I must be thorough. The subject will have a cheery disposition, trying to remain optimistic despite current events. He tries to be a happier person after his lashing out at someone important to him who is now deceased. The subject is random. Tests for teeth, armpits, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his hands are normal, while as a visitor his hands will have a rash. His eyes are the same color, but if he's a visitor he will show rapid eye movement, though this may be hard to verify. Here are the photo differences. If refused at the door, the subject has been known to bribe for entry. This subject wears a coat and claims to always be cold, despite how hot it is during the day. The subject seems to crave connection with others despite seeming distant. The reason for them keeping distance from others is due to having been bullied in the past as well as a secret they've been hiding. They are always a visitor. Continued dialogue with them will eventually lead to them showing you their secret. The secret is that under his coat he has a black hole in his stomach. When revealing this, everyone else in the room, including visitors, will die. Seeing this will get you an achievement. They show remorse, saying they hoped that things would be different, and it wouldn't happen this time. For some reason, you will be safe though. That being said, you will be given the option to either shoot them or kick them out. If you opt to shoot them at some point, they will remark that they now understand why they're always cold, realizing in their last moments that they're a visitor. This subject claims to have the real information on where the visitors came from. Whether this is true or not is not in my jurisdiction, though given some of their other conspiracies it brings the validity into question. The subject is random. Tests for teeth, armpits, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his hands are normal, while as a visitor his hands will have a rash. Both versions will have writing and ink on his hands. His eyes are difficult to detect, but the sclera seems to be slightly tinted red if a visitor, though we advise avoiding this test just in case, as it may be difficult to detect. Here are the photo differences. This subject brings a child with them, one that based on dialogue they seem to like less than her other children. This child will disappear the next day and she will show no worry and just assumes the kid is around somewhere. The subject is random. The only effective tests for this subject are hands and photo, as the others are the same regardless. If human, her hands are normal. If she's a visitor, her hands will have a rash. Here are the photo differences. To save us all time, if the death cult leader shows up, he'll place these 3 guys in your house regardless of your answers. All 3 of them are guaranteed human. Due to this, they are considered the safest encounter, though they can conflict with other guests. Though it is ill-advised, some have seeked out joining the cult. To do so, you simply need to keep all 3 of them alive in your house. The death cult leader will threaten to have his followers burn down your house if something happens to them, but like usual, this is an empty threat. This subject excessively sweats and talks about how he always feels like he's boiling. Though he is fairly grateful at first, later he will call you entitled. Quite hypocritical when he acts entitled due to previously being a minister. The subject is random. Tests for teeth, photo, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. The best test for him is armpits. He will have hair if human and fungus if visitor. The eyes and hands seem to be affected by other factors. For instance, his eyes can start off white but become red if given the energy drink even as a human. Due to this, hands and eyes are unreliable for this subject. If refused at the door, the subject will attempt to bribe for entry with kombucha or other items. Dialogue with him once he enters your house can result in further items if you provide what he requests, but only if he didn't use said item as a bribe to get in. In the first dialogue, he'll ask for a beer and give kombucha. Second, he'll ask for a pack of cigarettes and will give you a FEMA notice slip. Lastly, he'll ask for a can of Energeca and will give you coffee. This subject will show up to your home after having been disfigured due to the extreme heat they were caught out in while trying to put out forest fires. Despite their appearance and the fact that they will fail most of the tests, they are always human. He mentions having a family, but not wanting to return home to them so they don't have to see him like this, and can remember him before the incident. After 4 days, if he's still alive in your home, he will give you a necklace made out of dead bees he was planning to take home. Sadly, we don't have an image for the item, nor does it have a purpose. It's purely sentimental. After 5 days, he will die and not leave behind a corpse. He will give the player a FEMA paper if allowed entry, or may use it as a bribe if denied initially. Funnily enough, if you give him the FEMA paper, you'll unlock the hot potato achievement. This subject, when arriving at the door, will start talking to you about stars and signs and other mumbo-jumbo. I'd love to say she's full of crap, but the egghead seems to actually have some sort of higher knowledge, so it's not impossible, but she may be a fraud. The subject is random. Tests for hands, armpits, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. Her teeth look similar and the amount of teeth will be the same, but if she's a visitor, her teeth will be whiter, while as a human they'll be slightly yellow. She'll have normal eyes as a human and red eyes as a visitor. Here are the photo differences. The subject will arrive at your house after claiming to have walked quite a distance and wishes to have company. The subject, however, is always a visitor. This was the error in our previous debriefing. She will have 6 fingers on each hand for some reason. We can also confirm that shooting her does not reveal another granny underneath like a Russian nesting doll. Extensive testing was done to confirm this. Don't worry, agents. It was a common assumption.
It most certainly was not.
The subject will arrive banging on your door, hoping to be let in. They'll talk about how when doing their job, a hand popped out the grave and he was being watched by someone. The subject is random. Allowing this subject entry early on can be a risk. The only conclusive test is the photo test. In the human photo, there is only one body. In the visitor photo, there appears to be multiple others behind them. You can confront them about this, at which they will deny it. I am also here to put to rest the claims that you can tell based on his dialogue being different, and that he turns into a visitor. These claims are unfounded, and I personally have proved this to not be the case. If refused at the door, this subject has been known to bribe for entry. This subject is homeless and arrives at your home assuming the house didn't have anyone inside. The subject is random. Tests for armpits and the photo are the only reliable tests as the others remain the same. His armpits will have fungus as a human due to lack of hygiene given their situation, and as a visitor their armpits will be clean and hairless. Here are the photo differences. The human photo will have color and the visitor one will show a black body shape. If refused at the door, the subject has been known to bribe for entry. For him and his wife. Due to dialogue and other signs picked up, many agents out there have surmised that the husband is abusive. The subject is random. Tests for teeth, photo, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. When testing the hands, the nails will be clean regardless, but only the human version has what appears to be blood on their knuckles, most likely from his physical abuse. His eyes will be normal if human and slightly discolored if a visitor. The armpits will have hair if human and be hairless if he's a visitor. Continued dialogue with this subject will lead to things escalating. The wife wishes to stay while the husband does not. This can escalate into them leaving immediately, or worse, the woman breaking away and the husband shooting her, and you shooting him in response. If refused at the door, the subject has been known to bribe for entry. This subject appears at your home claiming to know the secrets of the visitors. He is also looking for someone, though no one at this agency has any idea who they are or where they would be. This person seems to have been lost in the roots. The subject is always a visitor. though if the player allows them into their home, they will receive an achievement. The subject arrives at the house after a traumatic experience. They talk about having seen the kids from their class be killed due to the paranoia of others thinking they may have been visitors. The subject is always human. There have been a few claims that this is not the case, but these claims lack the evidence and no proof has been found through our extensive research. They do fail several tests, though these are due to what happened prior. Her eyes are red due to crying over the children's deaths. Her hands have blisters and burns due to trying to open the doors as the fire spreads, and her armpits are shaved for health reasons in her field. Her ears do leak goo, we assume due to an ear infection, but we will remind everyone that technically ears are not a FEMA-sanctioned test. If you keep having dialogue with her, you'll need to tell her to pull herself together. If this does not happen, she will take the gun from you and shoot herself. While this is rather tragic, this does give the player the martyr achievement. The subject is the daughter of your neighbor. Saving us all the time, she is always human and we at the agency can't think of any particular reason to refuse her entry. She seems to also be the niece of the vigilante who goes around killing visitors, though this seems to amount to nothing if she is in the house when he appears. It's probably safer for her this way. If you're the kind to not let her in, I'm gonna need you to take this for me. The subject arrives at the house in FEMA gear. They claim to have taken this off of a corpse they found, but this isn't the case. He is one of the FEMA employees that broke protocol to return a dead body to the subject we call Widowed Woman. More on her later. This incident resulted in the loss of his job, and why he's now searching for shelter. The subject is always human, and despite failing several tests, reasonable explanations are given. Talking to him until he shows his former credentials will unlock an achievement. This subject appears at your door seeking shelter as everyone else. The most notable thing about them being their hand, which is found out to be caused by gangrene. Strangely, the gangrene is on the right hand during the test and on the left at any other time. This has no effect on the test and we can only assume it is some type of error in the system. The subject is random. Tests for hands and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. His teeth will be yellow if human and white if a visitor. Eyes will be white if human and red if a visitor. His armpits will have fungus if human and be clean with hair if a visitor. Here are the photo differences. The visitor version appears to have dark hands reaching at them. The subject appears at the home seeking shelter, though she acts quite harsh and ungrateful even after receiving it. The subject is random. The only tests that are reliable are the photo and ears, as the others remain the same. Here are the photo differences. The visitor photo is dark in comparison. If she's a visitor, a bug will be caught crawling out of her ear. The subject appears at your home seeking shelter, having crashed in random basements and other places to try and get by. When asked about her parents, she appears to lack grief about their uncertain fate. The subject is random. The only tests that are reliable are hands and the photo, as the others remain the same. Her iris is red, but this is not an indication of her being a visitor. She just has cooler eyes than everyone else for some reason. When testing the hands, if she's a visitor, her hands will have a rash. Here are the photo differences. From what can be gathered by her dialogue during the test that she can be apprehensive about, we've surmised that during her travels she ended up with another homeowner that she trusted until they tried to be inappropriate with her, and she left. The subject arrives at your house, being fairly flirty and trying to get you to open up about yourself. She is kind, compassionate, and shows interest in you and insinuates a more intimate relationship. Because she's shown interest in me, she's definitely a fake or a government agent.
My God, sir, we've been over this. An attractive woman liking you doesn't mean she's a skinwalker or a fed.
Then what does it mean?
That you have self-confidence issues.
That's not true. I'm just being realistic.
Sir, anyone who listens to as much yandere or Dami Mami ASMR as you clearly has self-image issues.
For the last time, I forgot to take it off autoplay one time, and I don't appreciate the third degree. This is insubordination. The subject is random, and here are her files. Tests for her teeth, hands, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same, though she will assume you to have an ear kink if you check those. When testing her eyes, if she's human, her irises are one shade of blue, but if she's a visitor, her eyes are multicolored. Description-wise, it kinda reminds me of a partially eaten jawbreaker. Her armpits will have stubble if human and be hairless as a visitor. Here's the results of the photo test. If she's a visitor, the eyes in the photo will be glowing. She's the only guest in the game who will reside in your bedroom, alluding to the fact that an intimate relationship actually occurs. But do not let this dissuade you from noticing the visitor signs. If she gives you one of these, enter at your own risk.
Sir, I think you meant let her in.
I know what I said! At nighttime, she will look strange and start to look pregnant. If she's a visitor, her belly will burst on the 4th night, unlocking the Take Responsibility achievement. It can be a pretty gruesome scene, so we can understand if you'd like some mouthwash to remove the bad taste. Moving on, if she's human, her belly will not burst on the 4th night. This can lead to an interesting set of events if you follow the proper steps. This subject appears at the home asking about dreams and if you've had any recently. Despite their interest in dreams, they haven't been dreaming recently themselves due to a lack of sleep. The subject is random. Tests for teeth and hands may be conflicting as there are 2 types for each. He may have either perfect teeth or messed up teeth, and may have either missing fingernails or clean, normal nails. It doesn't matter which version you see for teeth and hands, as either version can appear regardless of his species. Armpits, photo, and ears are also all the same. For him, the only reliable conclusive test is eyes. If his eyes are white, he is human. If they are red, he is a visitor. The subject will appear at your door being very friendly and making jokes that may be off-putting. The subject is random. The only conclusive tests are hands and eyes, as the others remain the same. His hands will be clean if human, but have dirt on the knuckles if he's a visitor. His eyes will be normal if human and red if visitor. During his dialogues, he may freeze up when remembering a painful memory, but eventually he will share it with you. The subject arrives at your door unaware of the current events. The player can catch them up, at which point they will become excited talking about possible survival scenarios. The subject is random. Tests for teeth, photo, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his hands are clean, while as a visitor his hands have dirt under his nails. His eyes if a visitor will be normal, but if he's human his eyes will be red, assumedly from smoking. His armpits will be hairless if human, and he will have fungus if he's a visitor. If refused at the door, this subject has been known to bribe for entry. The subject will appear at your house seeking shelter. They will talk about how they believe the apocalypse allows people to act on their innate violent tendencies, though this statement just alludes to him being dangerous, something the taxi driver knows all too well. If refused at the door, similar to subject Big Mama, there will be continuous knocking on your windows for the remainder of the night. The subject is random, though, unlike others, he has the possibility to kill like a visitor even when he's human, so allow him inside at your own risk. The tests for hands, eyes, and ears are unreliable as they remain the same. His teeth, if a visitor, will show bleeding gums and 5 golden teeth, 2 left and 3 right. If human, his gums won't be visible and he'll have 6 golden teeth, 3 on each side. His armpits will have hair if human and fungus if he's a visitor. Here are the photo differences. If he's a visitor, his eyes will be glowing in the picture. Sadly, despite the taxi driver remembering him and how he was dangerous, they will have no interactions even while occupying the same room. The subject will appear at your house praising the sun as if it's a new religion. Oh, wait a second. Saying that out loud, I had a realization. There we go. Alright, moving on. The subject will act quite strange and even refer to you as human, though this has no bearing on his species. The subject is random. Tests for teeth, hands, and ears are not reliable as they remain the same. If human, his eyes are yellow, while as a visitor his eyes are red. His armpits will have a rash if human, but have no rash if a visitor. Here are the photo differences. The visitor photo being darker. Talking to him enough, you can offer him a beer, which he'll drink, then proceed to vomit on your bathroom floor and unlock you an achievement. If refused at the door, the subject has been known to bribe for entry. The subject will show up to your house seeking company, mentioning how things at hospitals have fallen apart. They will tell you how they kept trying to save people despite everything happening, and how they ended up with FEMA. However, he doesn't trust FEMA and mentions how at certain points it felt more like being a guard denying people than actually saving lives. The subject is random. Hands and photo are the only reliable tests, as the others remain the same. He has perfect white teeth and a second pupil due to polychoria, but these do not determine his visitor status. His hands will be normal if human and have a rash if a visitor. Here's the photo differences, his human photo being the darker of the two. The subject will arrive at your house speaking about a harrowing experience and losing his vehicle, mentioning a man with the smile of the devil himself, this man being the suit guy. The subject is random. The tests for photo and ears are unreliable as they remain the same. The test for his teeth, hands, and eyes will be the reverse of what FEMA described. His teeth will be white if human and yellow if a visitor. His hands will be dirty if human and clean if a visitor. His eyes will be red if human and white if a visitor. If human, his armpits will have hair. As a visitor, they're hairless. As stated earlier, he has no interactions with the suit guy despite remembering him and occupying the same room. Subjects will arrive at the door together, seeking shelter and a place to rest. One sister will remark how her sister is suffering from depression and how she's been taking care of her. These sisters are also the only ones to have canon names. Unlike the husband and wife, these two count as two separate characters. For that reason, we shall be reviewing their files separately. Firstly, the subjects seem to have a high chance of being human, though it is always possible for either both or only one sister to be a visitor. Either sister will become uncooperative if you shoot the other, refusing further test. For this reason, we suggest verifying the species of both before proceeding. The sister who didn't visit Willy Wonka's factory's only reliable tests are hands and photo, as the others remain the same. Her hands will have a rash if human and be normal if a visitor. Here are the photo differences. The human photo has a swirl of color while the visitor does not. If refused at the door, the subject has been known to bribe for entry in concern for her sister. This twin is much easier to test. If she's a visitor, she'll show signs of a lack of care from her sister. Ears are the only unreliable test that remains the same. Her teeth will be white if human and yellowish with a missing tooth if a visitor. Her hands will be normal if human and have a rash if a visitor. Her eyes will be white if human and red if a visitor. Her armpits will be shaved if human and have hair if a visitor, something the dialogue even points to. Here are the photo differences, the visitor photo being much darker. The subject appears at your door thinking the house belongs to someone they knew. Upon realizing this isn't the case, they ask for entry after having wheeled a long way. The subject is random. The only test that's unreliable is the ears. The test for his teeth, hands, and eyes will be the reverse of what FEMA described. His teeth will be yellow if human and be white with gold teeth if a visitor. His hands will be missing one finger if human and missing all fingers if he's a visitor. He mentions that his fingers and legs will grow back. Coincidentally, checking their hands if they're a visitor will give you an achievement. His eyes are difficult to detect, but the sclera seems to be slightly tinted red if a visitor, though we advise avoiding this test just in case as it may be difficult to detect. His armpits will have a rash if a visitor and no rash if human. Here are the photo differences, the darker one being the visitor photo. He is a bit erratic and has strange delusions, and mentions voices in his head.
Fine, it was his ass. They mistook his ass for a nest.
Though, this behavior has no bearing on his species. If refused at the door, this subject has been known to bribe for entry. This subject can be seen carrying the corpse of her husband. Funny. Corpse husband. Anyway, internal files mention that her husband was previously taken in by FEMA, and despite protocol, the body was released back to her. She is unwilling to relinquish the body, and her grief will affect how she may react to you. Her grief will lead her to failing 2 tests, having red eyes due to crying and the armpit test failing due to poor hygiene. Despite this, she passes every other test and is guaranteed human 100% of the time. Talk to her enough and she'll show you a picture of the 2 of them together, which will give you an achievement. There were a couple submissions claiming that she, alongside the gravedigger, turns into a visitor over time, likely due to this video from another agent.
This same woman also ends up at the house, severely sleep deprived and looking for a place to rest. Now, if we know anything about the QZ, we know that the husband is 100% infected with the parasite and will most likely turn into a visitor soon. We also know that this illness is contagious, meaning that even though the widow is always human, she will start showing symptoms soon, and if we keep her around for long enough, so will we.
To clarify, this agent is not speaking from a mechanical perspective, but instead speaking theoretically from a narrative one. Mechanically speaking, this claim she becomes a visitor is completely false, unless there's bugs in our system. I personally can verify this. In my last field test, I let her in on day 4. I talked to her as many times as I could, but didn't have the last dialogue because she leaves the house on the last one. I tested everything on her, it all remained the same, and the field test received a good ending. But if someone out there wants to prove me wrong that badly, please provide unaltered proof that the claim is true, and I'll make a follow-up video saying that I'm wrong, and I'll read out your name and say you were right. Something I know you'll crave because clearly your mother never said it to you.
Oh my god, sir.
I'm joking, don't get angry, please like and subscribe. Back to the video! The subject appears at your home with their mouth sewn shut, mumbling without you able to understand them. If allowed into your house, they will speak what appears to be gibberish, but some of our agents have actually managed to translate some of his dialogue. Am I going to show you the translated dialogue? Of course not. Fuck, I look like Rosetta Stone.
Sir, come on. We literally have the transcripts. Someone sent them in.
Fine. I hope everyone out there realizes how much work has gone into this broadcast alone. I almost didn't do this for the sake of time. Assistant, you're helping me.
What? Me?
Yes, you. If you didn't want to be involved, you should have kept your mouth shut like this guy. Alright, maybe that was a little fucked up.
Oh, really? Glad to see you're not a complete asshole today.
Look, you just read the lines of our foreign friend here. Oh, and before we begin reading the translation, he's always human, so you can rest easy letting him in. Here's the timestamp for the last person if you want to skip the translation. So, you cut the stitches off your mouth?
This is a nightmare. They sewed my mouth shut just because they don't understand me.
I can't understand you. Are you getting what I'm saying?
I do not understand you. What can we do? Make up some kind of common language?
How are we supposed to communicate?
I can repeat your words and you can react to them. Maybe that way I will at least know what I'm saying. How?
What how? Are you trying to ask something?
I still cannot understand, but I think you asked something. Maybe it was a question?
You good? Does it hurt?
May I ask you to repeat that? Oot. Goot. Mouth? Maybe it will help. I wonder if the same thing is happening in my country. What a nightmare.
How are you going to get home?
Home? You are asking about home? I came to visit a friend and then this happened. This situation is just fucked. No other word for it.
How should I send you home? By plane?
A plane? You think they still fly? I should try to find out somewhere. Maybe there's still a way to get back.
Have you checked the ship tickets?
Like, sail on a ship? Do they still run? I will have to look it up, thanks.
Why do you look so thrilled?
Oh, you mean this? They managed to tell me that trains are still running. Can you believe it?
Can someone drive you home?
I do not understand, friend. Tomorrow I am heading home, or at least to the station. I'm leaving tonight, though. Bye. Bye-bye.
You mean the train? Are you leaving somewhere?
I did not get that, sorry. But tomorrow I will go to the station and see for myself. Maybe I'll get home after all this time. Good luck. That's how it goes. They don't understand you. They fear you. And they kill you. What? My mouth? Yeah, it was sewn shut. So what now? Do I need to smile? What now? Why? What the hell? I did what you wanted. You know they sewed my mouth shut. Now you are pointing a gun and shooting people? Hands? Fine. Why are you doing this? Killing for fun? Put the gun down. I didn't do anything to you. I should wash my hands. Eyes? I still don't get why you are doing this. The sun can burn your retinas. I don't look at the sun. No, I am a good guy. We just don't understand each other. Eyes are just eyes. Why try to scare me? I don't really get any of this, but whatever. Happy? Man, stop it. This is insane. They're gonna run checks there? Doesn't look right. Where is the photo? This deserves to be framed. Can you show me? I like photos, but you are not much of a fan, are you? They are simply ears. An earring from my dear friend. And then what? I would give anything to see him again. Miss him so much. What? Does this mean something?
Thank you to the agents out there who provided the translation. Now, on to our last guest. The subject appears at your door, shot, and having escaped from a FEMA quarantine zone. They state the fear of being caught and have information about what it's like in the quarantine zones, saying how everyone who shows up here gets stuffed into giant shipping containers. Unfortunately, many who are innocent get shoved in with visitors, and those who are human for this reason don't return, which is something that shortly we, the Resistance, should be doing something about. The subject is random. Tests for teeth and ears are unreliable as they remain the same. His hands will be normal if human and have a lot of scratches if a visitor. His eyes will have some sort of mucus in both tests, but his eyes will be white if human and red if a visitor. His armpits will have hair if human and a rash if a visitor. Here are the photo differences. The visitor photo has a dark spot around the stomach. If refused at the door, the subject has been known to bribe for entry. That concludes our broadcast. Armed with this information, you should have no trouble vetting anyone who graces your doorstep. Good luck out there, fellow agents.
Yo, Tiger, we need to go, now. The others will be here soon and we can't have FEMA catching on.
Right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope to see you all safe and sound in the future. Long live the Resistance. I'm Tiger Falco. Peace. Alright, let's go.
Did they already set the charges?